Hey guys, it's Linds. Welcome to Linds Soapbox. So last week we got the official trailer for the Fantastic Four First Steps movie, and I recorded my reaction because I've been telling you guys how excited I am for this movie. So I have it. I'm going to show it to you guys, but I also want to talk a little bit about the trailer. So we're going to get into all that stuff, but first, roll the clip.
Wow, folks, we all know the story. Four brave astronauts head up into space and come back forever changed.
This car?
Our city, our
He looks
planet
so good. Oh my
owe a
God.
debt to these intrepid souls. And while we can never repay them, we can certainly celebrate them.
Thank you, Fantastic Four. Thank you.
Thank you, Fantastic Four!
Please welcome the Fantastic Four.
Oh my gosh, I'm already crying.
Herbie, how's that sauce looking? Okay. That is fantastic.
You're late.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? You're late for dinner.
Yes, we are.
You late?
I just said that.
Are you pregnant?
What? You're gonna be the best mom in the world. And you are gonna be the best dad. Just kidding. You are out of your depth. We are gonna be the best uncles ever.
We can do this. Nothing's going to change.
All these quick ones were.
Are you the protectors of this world?
Yes, we are.
Your planet is now marked for death.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's my fault. I stretched the bounds of space. And they hurt.
Oh, Silver Surfer. Bounce over here.
Are we safe? I don't know. There's not enough time.
I'm not giving up. We will face this together.
Oh my god.
We will fight it
he looks
together.
incredible.
As a family.
Yo.
Has to be us.
We will protect you.
Yeah, So yeah, guys, that was my reaction. As you can tell, I was pretty much left speechless. I was like, I feel like in the video, I love her playing the whole clip because I think you can just tell how much like this movie means to me, and I just like, I get emotional about it. There was a lot of clips that we had already seen, but of course, we did get our first look at Silver Surfer, at Shalla-Bal, Silver Surfer, and we got to see Reed Richards' powers for the first time. And although this had already been confirmed, we did get to see Susan Storm finally with her belly, with like knowing that she's pregnant. I do want to get into specifics. First of all, I do want to talk about Silver Surfer, Shalla-Bal Silver Surfer, that you've been hearing everyone talk about. And if you don't know who Shalla-Bal is, basically Shalla-Bal was introduced in Silver Surfer's first solo run in 1968, and she is the love interest of Norrin Radd, the original Silver Surfer. Basically, she's introduced in the first issue where Stan Lee tells us the origin of Silver Surfer for the first time, where we learn that Silver Surfer is a man, Norrin, who sacrificed himself for his planet, for Shalla-Bal. He basically gave himself up and proposed to Galactus that he would be his herald and find planets for him to eat if he spared his home planet Zenla. Something that I've been seeing a lot of people mention is that Shalla-Bal is the wife of Norrin Radd, or that Norrin Radd is the husband of Shalla-Bal, but no, like it was never official, and that's very important to their stories because a big part about the Silver Surfer character is tragedy, and part of that tragedy is that he can never, or she can never end up together with the love of her life or the love of his life, right? There's something that always comes in between them. So again, every time that I've heard someone say wife or husband, I'm like, no guys, like no. They're simply just partners, you know? The reason why I say that is because I was going to get into the specifics about Shalla-Bal as Silver Surfer. So Shalla-Bal as Silver Surfer in the comics happened in 1999's Earth X run. Important to know that that comic took place in an alternate universe, which very similar to the movie takes place in an alternate universe. It's specifically in issue 12 where we get the cover of Alex Ross where it's Silver Surfer and Shalla-Bal. I love that cover so much. That art is so gorgeous. In the comic itself, Shalla-Bal literally only appears for like 2 pages. After that, she's killed off, and the reason why she's killed off is because remember how I just mentioned how Silver Surfer, the whole tragedy of his character is that he never ends up being with the love of his life. That's basically kind of what they did there, right? Because it was Norrin Radd and Shalla-Bal, both of them being Silver Surfers at the same time, and so he just ended up losing Shalla-Bal, which by the way, frigging. And the other time that Shalla-Bal has been a Herald of Galactus happened in What If issue number 37, which released in 1983. And in that issue, Shalla-Bal does the same thing that Norrin Radd did, so she sacrifices herself in order to protect her planet and keeping Norrin Radd in mind. However, in that issue, she doesn't become Silver Surfer, she becomes her own herald called Starglow, and she's gold and she looks so beautiful. Which, by the way, in the trailer there's a shot of Silver Surfer where she appears gold, and it just reminds me of that one panel where it just like it reveals what she looks like. Okay guys, look, I even put it side by side and I just think it's so cool because as I mentioned in the video, technically Shalla-Bal as Starglow, that was the first time that she became a Herald of Galactus. Shalla-Bal as Silver Surfer was until after, so I think it's like a cute little nod, even if they didn't do it on purpose. I think it's cool. However, I do want to mention that there have been other times where Shalla-Bal has held the power cosmic and hasn't necessarily become a herald. So for example, in Silver Surfer 1982, Norrin Radd Silver Surfer does pass over some of his power to her so she can rebirth Zenla, her home planet. Literally all the clips that we saw of her in this trailer like literally just scream Silver Surfer. I think it looks so good. I'm so excited. Like for example, let's pull up some clips. The first one, she's literally surfing in like, I don't even know, fire, sand, dirt. I don't know what's going on here, but it looks sick. And then this other one, the one literally that I just mentioned where she looks kind of like gold, where she's like coming up from like I don't know what, but it looks sick. And I do think eventually we will see a Norrin Radd Silver Surfer. I think the reason why they gave us Shalla-Bal for this universe is because it is an alternate universe, right? And eventually we're going to go to the main timeline. And I think in the main timeline is when we're going to get Norrin Radd. So I cannot wait because that means we're not only going to get one Silver Surfer, but we're getting 2 eventually. And I really don't know what the fate of Shalla-Bal Silver Surfer is going to be. I keep thinking about it because obviously what I love about Silver Surfer is his arc, right? When he decides to no longer serve Galactus and everything that comes after that, right? His like philosophical side. And I'm like, with this Silver Surfer that we're getting with Shalla-Bal in the movie, I don't know if she's gonna have that arc. I maybe will have a little bit, but I'm like, I don't think she's gonna make it past this film, right? I don't know. Hey, but she very well could. And then we could have Norrin Radd and no, because then it would be like trippy, right? Because if we have Norrin Radd in like the main timeline, he's gonna have his own Shalla-Bal that he's in love with. So I feel like, and then in this version or this universe, it's like, oh, we have this Shalla-Bal, so that means that a Norrin Radd exists, or you know, most likely does. So it would get messy. You get what I mean? But like, I mean, Doomsday, Secret Wars, like Secret Wars is messy. So I don't know, but I don't think she's gonna make it, maybe? I don't know. Also, guys, something important that I want to tell you. So you guys know that panel. I don't know where I'm going to put it, where I'm going to show you guys, but this panel that people keep using when they're talking about Shalla-Bal Silver Surfer in the comics, that is actually not Shalla-Bal. I mentioned this because I have read a lot of Silver Surfer stories, and so when people started bringing this panel up, I was like, oh my gosh, like, where are they getting this from? Like, I've gone through a lot of issues, I've done my research, I can't figure out where this pops up. So yeah, that is not Shalla-Bal at all, but it is a woman Silver Surfer who is Juno, the granddaughter of Hercules. Again, the only time that Shalla-Bal has been Silver Surfer is during the Earth X comics, and literally her origin story is exactly the same as any other herald. They basically sacrifice themselves for something, you know, for their planet or whatever, right? When I was doing my research, it was literally the randomest thing because it was in a Hercules comic, and that was before I knew that it was like Juno was the granddaughter of Hercules. And I was like, why in the world would Silver Surfer be in a Hercules comic? And eventually I got to the point point where like that panel shows up. I was so proud of myself when that panel showed up. I was like, I did it. I think that's all I have to say about Silver Surfer. If I remember anything else, I'm going to include it, because again, I've been thinking about it and stuff. Really, mainly is just the whole thing where like I'm not sure like if she's going to make it by the end of the movie or so, or like, you know. Which, speaking of which, this reminds me, sorry, this video is kind of like all over the place. I'm kind of just like pouring out my thoughts literally, but I've been thinking about the Fantastic Four life story comic, and that is one of the comics that Marvel kind of recommended. It was Fantastic Four #1, Fantastic Four number 48 through 50, which is the first appearance of Galactus and Silver Surfer, and the last one is Fantastic Four life story. So thinking about it now, basically that comic, what happens is that Reed Richards, when they go to space and they get their powers, he has a vision of Galactus that he's eventually going to come and kind of destroy planet Earth, right? Years pass, and throughout all those years, Reed is just very obsessive trying to figure out a solution for this, right? For Galactus coming. Now, and thinking about what we've seen in the trailers, I'm like, that kind of feels like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the direction that the movie is taking, right? Because we see Reed very like into his research and concern throughout the clips that we've seen in the trailers. That would perfectly line up with what happens in the comic. And what happens with Silver Surfer at the end of that comic is that he dies. So I'm like, what if like this Shalla-Bal Silver Surfer like sacrifices herself and she dies, or something along those lines, right? Another thing that I wanted to mention was Franklin Richards, because technically we don't know who's gonna come out of the womb. We don't know who's gonna come out of the womb, but we can pretty much assume it's going to be Franklin Richards. Like, it makes sense, especially going into Secret Wars, right? I feel like early on when I found out that Susan Storm was going to be pregnant, it kind of crossed my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, that's like really soon, or like they're jumping into this. But like realistically, guys, Susan Storm had had Franklin Richards in 1963. So their first comic came out in 1961, and we got introduced to Franklin in 1963, which is only 2 years after their first appearance, which I don't know why it never like processed in my brain. But Franklin Richards has been there pretty much from the start, so it makes perfect sense that he's going to be introduced in this film, right? More like it shouldn't be much of a surprise. I don't know, I thought that was pretty interesting. Valeria Richards, I believe, came until like, I want to say the 2000s, so pretty big gap. And then we finally got to see Reed Richards' powers. It was literally only for one clip, unfortunately, but I think it looks good. I'm like excited. I feel like Reed Richards, his powers, like I'm excited to see how creative they get with his powers, if they do, right? Real quick, other shots that I really loved. Herbie, I always love seeing more of Herbie. I'm so excited to see him in the movie. My Apple Watch is literally named after him. Like, it's literally, my Apple Watch is literally called Herbie. And the scene with Ben Grimm where all the kids were like, flip the car, or like pick up the car, or something along those lines, I love that the kids love Ben Grimm so much, because it's just like, he deserves to know that he is loved. It just makes it even more sad, because it's like he himself is going to be struggling with like the way he looks, his appearance, right? But it's like everyone else loves him. It is a shot where all the citizens seem to be like, it looks like they're underground or something. So I'm like, is that one of their plans to like get all the citizens to evacuate or what? Like, I really don't know, because at some point I did think that this planet, this universe was not going to make it at all by the end of the movie. I'm not too sure, because I'm like, maybe they will make it. I'm not really sure, because they do have to get to Secret Wars and Doomsday at some point, right? But that doesn't mean that their planet has to get destroyed. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe you guys are right. Maybe they will make it. So yeah, guys, I think I'm gonna end the video here. Sorry, this is literally just me ranting about Silver Surfer again. What's new? But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, do all of the above. And if you want to follow me on my other socials, it's at lindssoapbox. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.